Hey, this is MTG Buddha. I'm currently standing outside the grading authority, and I'm getting ready to go in, and we're going to talk to them about getting some cards graded. Hopefully, get to do like a little bit of a behind the scenes, kind of see what's going on, how they grade the cards, all that type of stuff. Hopefully, we'll get to see maybe like the entire grading process, all that type of thing. Talk to them a little bit about their company. Just kind of do a basic overview of their company, and hopefully it goes pretty well. I appreciate a like and subscribe if you like this video. I'm going to try to do more of this type of stuff, a little bit more of like going out and checking places out, checking card shops and all that stuff. So I think they have a card shop here as well, so we'll probably do a little bit of that, checking that out as well. So hopefully you enjoy the rest of this video and stick around. Thanks.
So I'm Kenny. I'm the operations manager for the Grading Authority, TGA. We're celebrating our 3rd anniversary on June 1st. The founders of the company started talking about doing a grading company because of the backlog that PSA and Beckett and everybody were doing during COVID. So they didn't want to wait a year or more for their cards. So they've been in the hobby for over 20 years. So they started this company, and we've been chugging away ever since. We do all trading cards that are of standard size. We also do the early 50s and 40s size baseball cards as well. We have labels designed for Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, a lot of the trading card games, sports. We offer 2 different types of labels, a standard black and white, and also what we would call a team color match, where we incorporate the 2 colors from the uniform the player is in and put those into the label as well. We don't have any club memberships that you have to join. It's a flat rate, whether it's Mickey Mouse or Mickey Mantle, you pay the same price. Everything can be found on our website, tgacards.com. We have a retail store here where people can come in and drop off submissions. They can pick them up. We can meet at shows. That way people don't have to put their cards through the mail if they don't want to. Just part of the personalized service we're trying to give to people, so that it's more person to person as opposed to you just being a number when you walk or want to send in a submission.
Okay. So when it comes to like grading, I know you said they'd been in the business for a long time. So like, what kind of grading experience do you have people who've worked for PSA or worked for, like, I mean, that's one of the things that like
no,
I've always wondered.
There isn't a college course that you can take that's, you know, card grading 101. It is learned through experience. The 2 founding members of the company, like I said, have been doing it for 20 years, and they were to the point to where they would grade their cards before they sent them in, and then compared them with the grades that they got when the cards came back, and they were matching with PSA. So that's what basically gave them the idea of starting their own company as opposed to waiting for such a long period of time. And they trained our head grader, who has in turn started training the graders that we have on site. So it's an in-house course, I guess you would call it. It could take, right now the average is about 8 weeks for someone to go from walking through the door as a new employee to working at our shows as graders, and obviously in-house, of course.
Okay. Yeah. So about how many cards do you grade average on a month?
It's about 2,000, depending on the time of year. During the Christmas season, business starts to go down a little bit because people are concentrating on their finances for gifts and things like that. But this time of year, we're booming.
Okay. And so about how long does it take to get a card graded? Like, let's say I mail it in to you and you receive it. Like, when you receive it, how long does it take before you ship it back out typically?
So we have 3 different turnaround service levels. The standard is a 30 business day. So from the time we receive it to the time we ship it is 30 business days, and that's $17 a card. We also have a 10 business day turnaround, which is $30 per card. And then we have what we call a walkthrough. If you get it to us before 12 o'clock, you can have it same day. But if it's after 12 o'clock, it's next day. And that's $50 per card.
Okay. So do you have any, I know a lot of the companies have like bulk order pricing. So like if you do multiple cards, like if you do 10 cards or more, most places it's a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Do y'all have anything like that? Do you do specials or anything like PSA does or SGC does?
Every other month, we usually shoot out a discount coupon code through our social media and things like that. As far as bulk, we do have a bulk, but it starts at 50 cards. And it drops $2 to $15 per card.
Okay.
And that's still a 30 business day turnaround.
Okay. So you said earlier when we were talking before we started videoing about that you mostly do Pokemon, things like that, or you're the bigger...
Sport to non-sport is a 60-40 split. Right now, non-sport is 60%, 40% is sport, but that is climbing. Yes, so compared to PSA, we are for sport about 80% right now. Non-sport, we're sometimes even ahead.
Okay, so for Pokemon and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is there any difference between like the Pokemon and Magic and stuff like that? How your stuff sells, or?
Pokemon's the biggest non-sport. Yeah. Next, the Lorcana has been really strong right now. Dragon Ball and Magic kind of go neck and neck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Right behind there. We even do one that's called Flesh and Blood. So it all depends what people collect.
Okay. And then we were talking also about like card sizes and things like that. So like what all size cards do you accommodate? Like thicknesses, sizes?
Sure. The T206 that you and I were talking about, we also do T206, the tobacco cards. Play ball is not an exact fit, but we will sleeve them and then encapsulate them. We can go 50s tops before they went standardized. And then as far as thicknesses, we do anything from 35 point all the way up to 180 point.
Okay, so you can do most of the thicker, like
yes, the jersey memorabilia, things of that. Yep.
Like that. Okay. Let's see, so you said you go to shows and you do
live grading on site. Yep.
Yeah, so live grading on site. So let's say somebody goes to a show and they get something live graded, and it gets a 10, and they're like, "Sweet, I want to get encapsulated now." So like, how would that type of thing
Absolutely,
work?
They can do that right on the spot. They can fill out a submission form right on the spot. It's still a 30 business day turnaround. They do get special pricing at the show. We do have a discount at the show to try and draw people into the shows, which helps the promoters. But absolutely, and they don't have to get them raw graded at the show. They can just do submissions at the show as well, and there's even a further discount just for that.
Okay. Let's see. So, and you have on your site where the shows you're going to be at?
There is an event page, and it usually goes 4 to 6 weeks ahead of where we are today.
You're able to come in and just drop things off, which is what I'm going to do today. So, so how does that work?
We just fill out a submission form, 30 business days from now, and you can pay when you pick up. You don't have to pay up front.
Are you able to pay up front?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Sure.
Now on the website, are you able to pay up front as well on the website?
You have to. If you do go through the website, you do have to pay up front.
Okay.
And they do have a couple of payment options, I believe, as well.
Okay. So do you know what kind of payment options is, like PayPal, things like that?
PayPal is one, credit card is another, and I believe they actually have Afterpay. So you can kind of split up into 4 payments, I believe.
And you can also do that through PayPal. If you
PayPal has, that's a PayPal option, yes.
Yeah, PayPal has an option for paying for, which I do a lot of times because of the fact I'm kind of stingy and don't like spending a lot of money at one time.
Right, so I think, what is it, $100 cutoff or something?
It's $30 minimum.
Oh, is it? Oh,
or
so
$30 or $40 minimum. I don't remember which one it is. It's one of the two. And like you can split it into 4 payments.
Oh, that's nice.
And it said you've seen a little bit of a spike during the summertime.
When spring training starts, baseball season starts, our business really picks up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. My name is Garrett Haltmeyer. I'm the head grader here for TGA. We grade sports cards, trading cards, any kind of cards, anything that fits in our slabs, we'll grade it. Oh yeah. So as head grader for TGA, I am responsible to train every other grader we have, make sure that they're up to date on our grading scale. I've actually helped with the revision and writing of our grading scale. The grading scale is what we use on our website to determine each factor for each individual grade, going all the way from 1 to 10 in a half-point scale.
And so you do have half points.
We do. Yep.
So.
We go from 1, 1, 5, 2, 2, 5, all the way up to 10. And we also do two different versions of a 10. We do the 10 pristine, which is our standard 10. Like you're allowed one minor flaw on a standard 10. So you could have, if you had subgrades, you could have a 9.5, only one. But we also offer what we call the Immaculate 10, which is very similar to what Beckett does with the Black Label. All 4 subgrades across the board are 10s. There are no flaws on the card whatsoever. We call those the TGA Immaculate, and we have a special gold label that we use for those.
Okay.
They're very, very rare.
Yeah. I was going to say the pristines are pretty rare, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so let's see. So about how many cards do you grade on the average?
In a day, or?
In a day, in a month,
in
week,
a day,
you know.
in a month. Well, I will say that since I joined the company, just about over a year ago. Since I joined the company, we've graded over 15,000 cards.
Okay.
So and that number has been increasing significantly week to week. Even I've graded more cards this week than I did last week, and that's happened for the past several weeks in a row.
Okay.
Yeah. So so at the end of the day, TGA takes a lot of pride in accuracy and making sure that that 10s are deserved 10s. That you're not just slapping a 10 on something because it looks kind of nice. At the end of the day, a 10 should be hard to get a 10. Especially if I'm looking at a card and I see a little dimple on the surface. That's not a perfect condition card at the end of the day. If it's not, at the end of the day, being transparent like that is the most important thing. So if it's a 10, it has to look like a 10. It has to be absolutely pristine. There can't be any kind of flaws on it. At the end of the day, you see with any grading company nowadays, you'll see cards that come back 10s, and people will look at it and see flaws in the slab even. At the end of the day, it's really important to us to really nail down what is a 10. 10 means 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with it. That's also a big reason why we have the separation between the absolutely perfect flawless 10 and our standard 10. Once you start getting down to the lower grades, it's all about it's mostly more about eye appeal with us. That's one of the biggest things. That's why anything that you see on the front side is going to be weighed heavier than something on the back side, because at the end of the day, when someone's looking at their cards, they're not looking at the back side as frequently as they are the front. So if it's a little off center on the back versus perfect on the front, the centering will get docked, but not nearly as heavily as if it were off on the front and perfect on the back. Yeah, eye appeal is the biggest thing. As you start getting down into 9s and 8s, it's mostly just about how well this card appeals to your eye. Does it look good to you at arm's length, out of 10 scale? Yeah,
just kind of give me some of the features that you.
Yeah, so some of the features we offer. So peel to reveal stickers is a really popular thing that we do. When you get your submission back, you can pay 25 cents per card extra to have a sticker put over the label on your card, so that when you get your cards back, you can have a little extra dramatic reveal moment for not just the actual. You see the card. Obviously, the card's not covered. The label's the only thing that's covered. So then when you peel the sticker off, you can do a real big reveal of, there's the card, there you see the information showing up, and rip it off, there's your grade.
Okay,
that's a big thing that a lot of people really like.
Yeah.
So the first thing I usually tend to look at is the centering. That's just the order I tend to go in myself. I look at the thickness on the borders. So I can see that this border here is just the tiniest bit thinner than this border here. And then looking top to bottom, I like to turn the card upside down when I look at it, because it reverses your usual orientation, makes things that you wouldn't normally see a little more obvious. So you can see that what would be the top border here is significantly thicker than this border up here. So the centering is a little bit off top to bottom and very little bit left to right on the front side. On the back side, it looks pretty darn close. Top to bottom is actually a little better on the back side. It might be a little heavy down here, but barely. Left to right is almost dead even. Overall, in terms of centering, I would probably call that about 8.5 centering overall, just because having the top to bottom off on the front. The front side certainly gets weighed heavier than the back side. Next, I would look at the edges. It's looking for any chips, notches. There are very small little notches along this bottom edge, but they're very, very small. That one looks real good. That looks really good too. This one looks really good as well. I like to look on both sides, obviously. yeah, the edges look really, really good. There's very, very, very minor chips on the bottom. I'd probably be at 9.5 edges. Overall, thinking in terms of subgrades, see if you're at 8.5 centering and 9.5 edges. Moving forward to corners, looking to make sure they're all nice and sharp, no fraying, bends, touches, anything like that. Front side, these corners look very good. This top corner right here has a very slight little touch to it, so minor you can barely even notice it. I can only really see it with the advanced magnifier I have here. Yeah, that's really small. Very, very minimal touch on that corner there. Going to the back side, I don't want to. Ideally, you don't want to see whitening showing up on the corners. You don't have much showing up here. There's a very, very small amount of it showing up here on this corner right there. Other than that, the corners look very, very good. I'd probably be at 9 corners overall. Just having one very soft touch on the front and then a little bit of white on the back, I'd be at 9 corners overall. Last but not least, I look at the surface just to make sure there aren't any print spots, creases, stains, impressions, anything like that. We will use a microfiber, obviously, to wipe off any excess dust, anything else stuck on the card that'll just wipe right off. There's not much wrong on the front surface. It looks really good, actually. The back surface does have some very minor print spots. There's like a small little black dot in the red border here. And there's another small print spot in his stats right here between the two slugging percentages. But other than that, I would probably call this 9.5 surface. Overall, just having those very minor print spots in the back, the front surface looks really, really good. So overall, considering your subgrades, you have 8.5 centering, did I say 9.5 edges? 9.5 edges. 9 corners and 9 surface. So if you add all those up together,
you said 9.5 surface, right?
9.5 surface, my mistake. 9.5. So you add all those up together, you end up with a total of 36.5. And if you divide that by 4, you end up at about what would end up being like 9.0125, which ends up at a 9 overall. So I would land at a 9 overall for this card.
Okay.
Cool. Looks great. Ready?
Okay, so I'm back home and I've got the walkthrough that I did in the video. This is the Chipper Jones. They gave it to me in this little package. I don't know if all the cards come in packages like this, or if it's just because I did a walkthrough that I got this special package. So we're gonna reveal it and do the little reveal thing. I did pay the extra to get the little sticker reveal because I thought that was kind of a cool thing, even though I pretty much know what the grade's going to be because they told me. This is a kind of a cool thing that they do here. Your cards come with a little card saying thank you, and it has what their favorite card was. Of course, there was only one card in this, so they didn't do the reveal sticker. I thought I'd ask for the reveal sticker, but I guess I didn't. I think I did that on the order for the ones that I actually am doing. And then they put who the grader was, and then the head grader, which it was graded by the head grader, so he just signed it down here. But yeah, so this is the card. This is the slab. This is what it looks like in the slab. I did choose the team match, and I paid the extra to get the little subgrades on here. So he's got 8.5 for the centering, an 8 on the edges, a 9 on the corners. I mean, a 9 on the edges, 9 on the corners, and 9.5 on surface. So, but yeah, this is what the slab looks like. And we'll kind of pull it out of this little thing here and kind of give you a little closer look as well. Let's see. So let's get this a little closer. So again, the surface was really good, he said. So the surface we're not too worried about. And again, when I looked at it initially, I was like, oh, it looks pretty good centering wise. But yeah, he pointed out if you turn it upside down, sometimes you can notice, and I did notice once he said that, I did notice this was thicker. So I didn't notice that beforehand. Now the back was centered up pretty good. Again, the top was just maybe the slightest bit thicker, but like maybe only like 1 or 2 percentage points. So not enough on the back. If the front and back had been the same thickness, top and bottom, this probably would have been a 10, or would have gotten a 10 for the centering. But the centering being off that much, top to bottom, and then being off a little right to left, that kind of hurt it a little bit. But otherwise, it was in really good condition. He said there was one corner that had a little bit of something on it. I was going to look and see. I think it was this corner here. So I don't know if you can see it there in the slab. But then he said there was also a little bit of white on one of the corners. I think it was this corner over here. There's like just a little bit of white right there. I don't know if you see it or not. Or maybe it was this corner. Maybe there were 2 corners that had a little bit of white. Let's see. Maybe just a little bit of white right there. But yeah, so this is pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, these will like fit right into a PSA slab as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these will fit into a PSA slab. So we're going to compare this next to a PSA slab. So basically, they look pretty much identical. Like, I mean, the frosting and everything's even pretty close. There's slight differences in the way the slabs look, but the size-wise, they're pretty much spot on. If you want to look thickness, the thickness of them, if you can tell, I don't know if you can tell from this angle here, they're basically the same thickness. And then they do, it seems like they do interlock. So it interlocks into the PSA. Now, I don't know if it'll, yeah, so on front to back, yeah, it locks in, but it like slides just a little on the front. But like if you're locking this into a PSA, like the PSA being on the back, it locks in tight. I mean, it's good and tight lock in on the PSA. But like I say, if you lock it in on the front, there's that slight difference in the case where, well, I don't know, it's holding pretty well. Yeah, see, so it'll slide just a little on the front, but it locks in good and tight on the back. Like if they've got the PSA on the bottom, it locks in tight. So the cases are very similar. Like I said, there is a slight difference in them, but I mean, very similar. They have like their TGA is very similar to the PSA symbol that they've got on there. But I do kind of like the black label with like the team color match. I do like the fact that you have a choice of putting these subgrades on here. I wish they would just do the subgrade standard instead of having to pay $3 to do that. But otherwise, I think it was a pretty good little slab. I think it looks good. I think the grading was pretty accurate. I felt this was probably a 9 or somewhere between a 9 and a 10. If I got really lucky. I didn't notice the top to bottom centering. I thought maybe the right to left centering being just a little off. If that was all it was, it might get a 9.5, maybe a 10 if I was lucky. But I figured this would be somewhere between a 9 and a 10. So the fact that I got a 9, I'm not disappointed. This is a card I'm not going to sell. I'm going to keep this card in my collection. It's not going anywhere. But yeah, so far I've been happy with this card getting graded. The other cards I have 12 other cards that they're grading. And then they will call me when they're done, and I will either come back up there to pick them up at the store or at their shop, or I will pick them up at a show where they're going to be at. I will go to meet them at a show and pick them up that way. But yeah, so as opposed to them mailing it out to me, I'm just going to pick it up. Since I'm so close. It's only a couple hours drive if I do drive up there, and there's a minor league baseball stadium like 20 minutes away that I might just make it a trip and go up there, pick the cards up, and then go to a game. But yeah, so when they come back, I'm going to do a reveal video for the ones that I get back after this video. But hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you did, press like, subscribe, and tell me what grading companies you want me to check out. I'm going to check out a couple of other smaller grading companies and get some things graded through them and see what the process looks like, and just kind of go through, the whole process with you. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Click like and subscribe, and have a good day.